It happened so fast.
I think a storm like that caught everybody off guard. I don't think anyone could have been prepared for a storm like that. As much as you even wanted to prepare, it was such of a magnitude that you can't describe it. I mean, honestly, I've never seen anything in my 47 years of life like that. I mean, that was the worst thing, the worst catastrophe I've ever seen anywhere in the history of the world. I'll be honest with you.
Nobody knew it was going to be that bad. No, people thought it was going to be a storm that just came through.
Oh my God, we're set for this record rainfall.
I don't think we had that much rain since Noah's Ark, I'll be honest with you.
And I thought, Jesus, what's going on? Is this the end?
Houston went underwater. Most of Texas, most of southeast Texas went underwater.
My name is Brian Linthicum. I work at the Pasadena Police Department. Well, we have no food. We didn't have much water to go around, and we had nothing. We had guys work 17 hours and never ate one thing.
Firemen or EMS guys that their house was flooded and they were having to come to work to help other people who were flooded.
Food was a big deal back then. Or lack thereof, I guess 17 hours straight, you know, no supplies, limited on supplies, the water, the food, you know, and it was just bad.
The law enforcement, family, the fire departments, all of your first responders, the jobs that they have during those times is very trying, very stressful. And those were the people that we wanted to serve, the ones that serve others. We wanted to, in a sense, protect our protectors. My name is Ryan Medlin, 35 years old, married, 2 kids from Baton Rouge, born and raised. Obviously, we were all aware of what was going on in Houston. We all had past experiences through our flooding of what needed to happen. And initially, we all said, you know what, let's get our boats, let's go down there and see if we can pull some people out. That was our first intentions. Well, we all came together, we all met. And some of these guys, I'd say 5 of the 10 of our group, I'd never met them. Never met them at all. And so through Facebook and some of the groups, the Central Ranks and Rays, we were able to find 5 to 10 guys that wanted to make a difference. We just didn't know how we were going to do it. So we all met that day. We said, what can we do to make a difference? Well, obviously we all have boats. We're from South Louisiana. We have that capability if that were the case that we were going to do. We decided, however, with Stephen Ashford, he's a federal agent here in town. He spoke with Kelly Walker and kind of reached out, like, you know, where are the most needs? And it wasn't boats, because all of our South Louisiana boys and girls, we went down there, and they were already down there pulling people out. So that was not the most, that was not the biggest concern. What the biggest concern was the first responders, the police officers, the EMTs, the EMS, the firefighters, all down there are working 24/7 with no food. I mean, they hardly got any food. They're eating, you know, MREs and stuff that's really quick, because, you know, your McDonald's and your KFCs, they're closed.
Hey, my name is Kelly Walker. I'm from Baton Rouge. When I left Southeastern, I went to work for the district attorney's office. So I've been retired about a year. I went back to work for the office in April on a part-time basis. It's been a great thing working part-time for Hiller and just doing community-based stuff.
Hiller Moore, I'm the elected district attorney in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We immediately reached out to the district attorney there and asked, what can we do? They're working around the clock 24 hours, probably not sleeping well. Hard for them to leave their job because they're first responders, they're district attorneys that are working hard. Let's make it easy for them to enjoy a good meal and see somebody and talk to someone who's been through it before.
We reached out to local law enforcement, first responders, and said, hey, we will come and cook for the DA's office, because they were trying to get their office up and running, at least in a skeleton crew, and so that the court system could begin to function again. And law enforcement at that point, just like law enforcement here, was working 24 hours a day. And you had the situation where, just as we did in Baton Rouge, you had cops in Baton Rouge, or firemen or EMS guys, that their house was flooded and they were having to come to work to help other people who were flooded. So we went and said, we'll come and cook. We had already reached out to initially we had contact with a guy, Stephen Ashford, who is a federal guy here, who had a team of guys that were willing to go to Texas and cook. We were going to go with them a couple of days right after the flood. We didn't think we could physically get there because of the closed roadways. We chose to wait a couple of days. They went ahead and they made it to Pasadena, fed at a regional, like an Office of Emergency Preparedness. They went to a regional setting for those guys and fed and stayed with them several days and fed them.
We had a former sergeant that worked with us, a retired sergeant. I guess something happened on Facebook. I'll be honest with you, I don't know exactly what, but I think the word got out on Facebook. And he got wind of it and reached out, and I'll be darned if the guys from the CIA, the cast iron assistance guys, actually received Randy Merritt's email. They responded back to him, and I'll be honest, straight up, he was a lifesaver. Them guys came from Louisiana, drove through the storm, and passed through flooding waters to get to us, and I can't say anything but they rescued the Pasadena Police Department, straight up. Them guys fed us like kings and were the greatest guys I've ever met, straight up.
These people are really going through a trying time emotionally and all otherwise. We wanted to give them something special. We just didn't want to give them a regular sandwich on plain white bread. We wanted to have a New Orleans style po' boy, famous po' boy. We wanted to do some Cajun hospitality from Baton Rouge, cook a jambalaya, cook a pastelaire, do something that maybe is a little bit different to Houston.
So, like I mentioned earlier, Stephen Ashford had reached out to Kelly Walker. Kelly Walker got some information from the Pasadena Police Department saying that they were running 300 people days, 300 people nights, rounding around 24/7. They did not have anybody to serve them food at all. They were scrambling to find food. And so Stephen reached out to the chief of Pasadena, and he said, hey, look, we're here, we're mobile, and we're ready to help. He said, call me when you get here. I'll be more than happy to get you an escort in the city, because there's a lot of flooded roads. And we did, and he was able to escort us in, and we actually parked our RVs, and looked like a bunch of crazy Cajuns just pulling right up to the front of the headquarters, and we took our lawn chairs out, our 30-gallon pots, and immediately started cooking.
We had investigators and secretaries and lawyers that were constantly calling me or emailing me saying, when are we going, when are we going? We loaded up 2 trailers of materials and food, brought that there, and spent 2 days there feeding the district attorney's office and the police department.
About the time they were coming home, we left and went to Houston, got to Houston and did the same thing. We fed, it was kind of a Cooking for Cops program. When we got there, other agencies had done the same thing. Subway had set up an entire little area there to feed them sandwiches, had it going. They were running a kitchen in a parking lot, literally, because most places were flooded still. We ran a kitchen in a parking lot for 24 hours a day. We just mentioned we were going. Justin Kennedy, who owns Parkway Bakery in New Orleans, one of the oldest bakeries in New Orleans, said, I want to go. I'll go. When you leave, give me time to get prepared and I'll go. He literally just started telling customers, hey, next week I'm going to Houston. People, he had a whole van full of supplies, t-shirts, gloves, clothes, personal hygiene, literally an entire van full, so that people just brought to him and said, take this with you. He did probably I don't know, 700 po' boys. Everything from sausage to alligator to ham and cheese to club. I mean, literally, it was amazing to see people just spring into action and say, I will do whatever we have to do to help.
We all decided let's reach out to our friends who have all experienced this, and let's see if we can start getting some donations going so we can start buying some food. Within 12 hours, I had $3,000 in my Venmo account saying, look, go help those guys. We had a huge trailer and we loaded it up. White beans, jambalaya, whole briskets, whole Boston butts and stuff that we could make good pulled pork sandwiches and stuff, but we had it loaded down.
Everybody we called that even thought about something we would need said, no problem, how much do you need? When we got ready to actually go cook, we reached out to Manda Brothers Sausage, the meat sausage people. They provided us sausage. Tremonti's Meats provided us with more than enough meat to go to cook jambalayas and other things. Tony Seafood, we went to Mr. Bill Pizzolato and said, hey, we want to do some seafood while we're there. No problem. What do you need? And I thought he was going to have a stroke when I said, hey, I need a bunch of crab meat. You know, crab meat's kind of expensive sometimes. And I was thinking, he said, how many are you cooking for? I said, we got to cook for a pretty good bit. And so, but his response was, sure, no problem. Come get what you need. And if you need seasoning or something to go with it, please do. Tremonti's did the same thing. Tremonti's donated an entire coffin-sized ice chest full of meat to go. And seasoning and stuff to go with it. Just take whatever you need and go. So, other bit Coca-Cola bottling. We said, hey, we gotta have drinks for these guys. I gotta have water. I'm not sure if they're getting Cokes and stuff every day, but we want to be nice. So they sent soft drinks and water. Blue Runner beans. They actually gave us enough Blue Runner beans for us to still be feeding people. In fact, they gave us an entire pallet of white beans. We cooked a huge pot or two of white beans while we were there to go with jambalaya and some other stuff. And then we sent, when the guys went from Pasadena, that went back to the officer's funeral, I think we sent 40 more gallons of white beans with them. So, but everybody did their part. You know, everybody just came forward and said, we'll do whatever, we will donate, we'll help, we'll cook, we'll send seasoning, we'll send meat, we'll send whatever you need. Michael Beverage Budweiser said we will send, even though we were going to law enforcement, we said there will be times where officers will be off duty and can come and have a beer with us and visit. No problem. They basically said, how much do you need? It wasn't a question of what. How much do you need? We'll send it. And if the guys have an opportunity after work to come and have a beer and sit and visit with other cops, then we'll do that. On our cook trailer, we have a 30-gallon jambalaya pot. So I can cook that just as we will Monday and feed several hundred people out of it. The same thing with white beans. Here, that's a staple here to have jambalaya white beans in Louisiana. In fact, it's funny because we put our white beans on top of the jambalaya. You know, it's like people that eat gumbo, they put potato salad in gumbo. Other people don't do that. So we said, you gotta have white beans to go into jambalaya, just like you gotta have potato salad to go into gumbo. But we did that because it's easy to feed a large number of people. It's a good hot meal. And not that I want to give away our secret recipe, but the jambalaya that we cook, man, it's a huge jambalaya. It's loaded down with lots of good meat. About 70 pounds of meat goes in every pot of jambalaya we cook. So it's not like you're getting just a plate of rice. I mean, it's a good staple meal. And then you have some good white beans with it, with some ham bone and a little, you know, you put the Trinity in there, a little bell pepper and onions and seasoning, and you got a great meal. But the jambalaya we do the jambalaya because it's easy. You can start a jambalaya in a couple hours, feed a couple hundred people. So,
you know, no one turns down food, especially when it's good food.
Ooh, the food. Marco Vela. I'm just a regular police officer.
Cooked, and we probably fed, I would say, in excess of 1,000 or 1,500 people in a couple of days. Initially, we cooked a big shrimp and crab stew, which they were very glad to have. I don't think they'd had that in a while there. They'd been eating Subway sandwiches for several days. And I think they were glad to have something nice, some good, again, it was good Louisiana food that we went and cooked. We did 2 big jambalayas, white beans, some seafood, and just fed whoever walked up, whatever policeman or EMS guy or firefighter that had not eaten that day came and just ate.
Think about, I mean, if you're cooking 30 gallons times 2, you're cooking 2 30-gallon pots of jambalaya. You need somebody to stir it, you need somebody to cut the vegetables up, the meat, you need somebody to clean the pots, you need somebody to serve it. I mean, there's a lot of things that goes on. And I can tell you, with the 10 people that we had, we served a meal at midnight, a meal at 6 a.m., 12, and 6 in the evening. So that's a lot of people to feed in a short amount of time to do it. It was non-stop. With 10 people, it took every minute that we had. First night was pastelai, white beans, and bread. And we had a whole bunch of cookies that were donated, so we just gave everybody a little cookie.
That's that little break, a little slice of heaven, if you will, was man. That does wonders for the soul. Just to tell a person, just hey man, come here, just get out for a while, just take a break here, sit down and try this. And I'm telling you, I'm not putting food up there where this is the most important thing, but at that time it was.
I will admit, I'm a good gumbo cook. I cook a good gumbo. And a gumbo is something that you can't cook in small. You can't cook a small gumbo. When I cook gumbo at home, you cook it in a crawfish pot at home on the stove. And I think it just comes from trial and error. You get a couple recipes. You open up the River Roads cookbook and the Mike Anderson's cookbook and a recipe your mama had and the neighbor gave to you, and you literally combine all those things. Just as a gumbo is a combination of all kind of stuff, you combine all those recipes and you put it together. The jambalaya, I gotta be serious, we stole the jambalaya recipe from a local church. The jambalaya came from a men's club at a Catholic church here, and it's a great recipe. It's very, if you follow the recipe, you cannot mess it up. And you can mess up a jambalaya, believe me. But we stole a recipe from a men's club here that had been doing some jambalayas for their own church and some benefits, and it always turned out real good, so we said, we need that recipe, so they sent it to us. And the recipe, what's awesome is the recipe is broken down into a jambalaya for 75, 125, 175, 250, so you can you go through it and say, hey, I'm cooking for 300, so I need this, I'm gonna use this recipe.
They were a lifesaver. These guys were the most, it's almost indescribable because what they did. These guys literally came into the Pasadena Police Department and they lifted the hearts of all the guys working. All the men and women out there, it was a tough situation, and they made the situation light. I mean, they just motivated everybody, they uplifted everybody in their spirit, and it became, even though the devastation around us was just beyond the word, you can't even describe it. No one's seen anything like this, and no one's ever experienced anything like this. But just having them guys there and them uplifting our spirits and the camaraderie, that in itself, besides the food, which was the most incredible food we ever ate, and I don't think anybody can attest that, was just the biggest part. I mean, honestly, these guys, there was nobody in the Pasadena Police Department that didn't leave meeting these guys with a smile on their face. Not one. Food just shows the appreciation. You don't have to say anything when you feed a person who's hungry. You know what I'm saying? They see it, and their appreciation is the fact that they're getting a hot meal. Especially, it takes their mind off the destruction for that little bit of time to eat the food and enjoy a little bit of peace. Because in that situation, there's no peace. And that gives them that little bit of sense of peace to relax and have a nice hot meal and move forward in life.
We get another call a little bit later saying, hey, this group showed up late last night. They set up their little camp outside in the east parking lot, and it's starting to smell really good. So we're like, yeah, well, let's see what it's all about. And whoa, man, we get there, true Cajun food. And it's like that first bite, it was like, man, hello somebody. You know, I mean, I'll never forget it. It's just, I said, man, I couldn't wait. When's the next meal? And they would tell you, hey man, just wait a couple hours. We're gonna have the next one ready. Oh man.
It was, the response that we got was simply amazing. I mean, those guys would come up, they'd give us their coins and hats and shirts from the police department. They took us a ride in their Bearcat.
And at one point, you know, I was thinking, what can I do? Just give them something to, you know, make them happy. We brought out our bomb robot, you know, and played with the guys a little bit and so forth. And then we gave them a ride in our Bearcat, you know, our SWAT vehicle. And that made them, they were just excited about little stuff like that. Anything we could do at the time just to give a little back.
Unbelievable, rewarding experience during a very trying time.
Part of the reason that I'm here is to be of service to other people. And not just in my job life, but in all aspects of my life. So you do what you're supposed to do. You do what's right. On the back of my business card I have a little saying, and it says you do what's right because it's the right thing to do. You do what's right because no one's watching and you're not indebted. You do what's right. And if you take that into every little aspect of your life, when there is a disaster or when there is a problem or when someone is having or facing a dilemma, you look at the back of that card and you say, you do what's right. What am I supposed to be doing right now? Today, maybe I'm supposed to be feeding these people. Tomorrow I might be tearing out the walls in their house. And I think that gumbo, if you look at the deep side of what gumbo really is, what is gumbo? Gumbo is just a combination of a bunch of stuff you throw in a pot and cook. We're doing the same thing with people. We're just bringing this combination of people together and cooking into a friendship, into a relationship, and serving a good hot meal and bringing some Louisiana hospitality.
It's a hospitality. It's a Southern hospitality.
And I started asking them guys, I said, you know, who are you guys? Man, you guys come to save the day. And they started telling us, hey man, we heard the call go out and, you know, we answered. I said, man, you guys volunteered to do this? Yeah, we asked for donations and took our own money and we came out here. We felt it was the right thing to do. And man, you know, of course the allergies started acting up, you know, like, ugh, because it was hard, you know, it was like hard seeing, like, man, trying to figure out these guys, they've got families, you know, and a lot of people are like, well, you know, they came out. No, they took time, took their money, took that time away from their family to come and help us. And it was, I mean, emotional, and it was great. And I think that's what helped create that bond that we built with them guys. Because, I mean, not only was the food damn good, but, you know, we built friendships with them guys. And to you know, to spend time, and they're kind of going through what we're going through at the same time, because they're watching the devastation. You know, they're seeing the lives that are affected by these. We had officers that lost everything, you know, and then, you know, I know they would hear the stories of the people that didn't make it, you know, all of a sudden the body count starts rising, and, you know, they see it, and they see how it affected us. And, you know, they were out there, they'd lend a hand, they'd pray with us, you know, give us a hug, you know, it was just great. It was so great that once they did leave, and they would, you know, help them pack up and stuff, load up, and they're saying their goodbyes, they're posting stuff on social media. I put on there, I said, man, when you guys were leaving, it felt like, you know, like my best friend was leaving forever. And I said, I got into tears. I was like, man, like I'm losing a friend.
We've made friends with these guys. Officer Vila, Marco Vila, he's a police officer in Pasadena. Him and his wife, after all the overtime and stuff, that he needed a vacation. So we welcomed him in to our home, and he stayed at our house for 5 days. Went to the LSU game with us, ate with us, you know, laughed, cried, everything. He spent an entire week over here just because we reached that bond with him. I mean, it was like we'd been known him our entire lives, when in fact we had just met him.
One of the guys that was in there, he was like me, he was a Marine, and we started communicating back and forth. And I told him, I said, hey man, you know, to see you guys leave like that, it hurt, man. It hurt. And I told my wife's like, you know, why are you so down? I mean, it's like, you know, this thing is over. You know, we survived. And I said, well, it's that friendship that we built, and the camaraderie and the teamwork, you know, all that. I mean, you don't understand until you're out there doing it, and you're on that front line and seeing what we see and going through it, like, oh, man. So when you got someone there to share it with, you know, it's helping you out, i.e. bringing you food for free, you know, I said, you just build a bond, baby.
When a friendship is built out of tragedy, it has a lot more meaning to it. Because people know this guy could be doing anything else, anywhere today, but he's here with us. You know, he's here helping us. So sometimes those disasters bring out true and lasting friendships. So that's what we gain.
To sit down and look at somebody else and say, man, what have we been through? And look at us now. How good is this meal? It's so hard to explain it in words, but just having a good home cooked meal like that is just, it's overwhelming. I mean, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good. I mean, it really does. I mean, I guess you can cut it back to being the most simplest things in life, but man, something like that, or a hot shower, it makes you appreciate that makes you appreciate what you got and how you got it.
I love them guys.
We went there to give, and at the end of the trip, we received more than we could ever imagine. Just the camaraderie that you get during times like this is simply overwhelming.
I don't know what to say. I mean, honestly, when I think of them guys, I can't think of anything but positive, and I get happy and silly, I'll be honest with you, because they are the greatest group of people I've ever met. And I mean that. I really do. I tell my wife that all the time. I would do anything for them guys any day of the week, and I mean that.